Well, here's an example. We are being programmed by the media. For some of the examples that I used earlier, if you sit and you watch over and over negative images, then believe it or not, your vital life force is being lowered. You're not aware of it. Sometimes I watch these teenagers who are playing some of these very, very violent video games, and they have no idea that they're actually losing life force by watching them, and they're getting programmed for more violence. We have a very violent world, and yet when light enters dark, what happens? There's less dark. If you are in a closet and the door is closed and there's no light, and you reach up and pull the chain, you turn on a light, you'll see there's nothing to be afraid of. We all can be the light, no matter where we go in the world. We can vibrate a frequency of light. So using those techniques I was talking about will bring more life force up, and people will feel you when you walk through a door. Have you ever had the experience where you've been someplace and somebody just says, "Wow, you're just so shiny today.
Yeah, you're sparkling."
You're sparkling because they can actually feel you.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll say that about a pregnant woman, someone who's excited that she's having a child, and they say you're just glowing.
Well, we're either I'm trying to find the word. We're either vibrating a high frequency or we're vibrating a low frequency. It's not something you guess at. You know from 1 minute to the next, from 1 hour to the next, sort of where your frequencies are vibrating, down or up. Now, I'd say if you want to raise them higher, then you can do that. If you're having lower frequencies, you can choose to raise them. It is a matter of choice, isn't it?
You have to be aware, too. Sometimes I think people aren't aware. They're just sitting there in front of the television. They're not even aware that their vibration's getting lower.
Well, ask the kids who hug a tree.
Yeah. Oh, I've hugged trees. My favorite are the pine.
Yeah. Well,
you get good energy from those trees.
She has great taste. She knows the different trees to hug.
Yeah.
But the point is that children, we should be listening to children. They automatically know.
Yeah, if you watch a child,
they know.
They're so funny. They can be up at 1 second and down the next and back up again. The down doesn't last very long.
Well, they're a sponge for an environment. And the more sensitive they are, the more they're pulling into their body. So
we have a few more questions here, and I want to see which one I want to ask you, because we want to get to the audience. So I'm trying to see if all the questions, one that you think is probably the most important. Well, there are different things we can do to raise our vibration. Can I just mention them, and you grab which one to elaborate on? One is being optimistic, which that's obvious. And one is staying in touch with our feelings, and that's pretty obvious. And purification, we should remind people, okay, you want to talk on that one.
Okay.
We'll do a few more, and then we'll go to the audience.
It is wise, I believe,
there's a lot.
to learn about what blood type you are, to understand what's unique about you as an individual and your own frequency. For instance, a lot of people are walking around right now and they're having problems with digestion because the energies are shifting in their cells and they are becoming allergic to some of the things that they've always been able to eat with no problem. So in order to understand what you may be allergic to, you can be muscle tested, you can have your blood tested, but if you're taking in some things in your body that are toxic, that means that your life force, every time you have to digest it, it's crashing your energy, it's lowering your field, and it's causing a toxic reaction, like sugar, for instance, sugar. So the more you can educate yourself on food, it's absolutely crucial because there are so many fillers and sugars being put in the food today that you have to learn how to find a live food.
Yeah, we have to be really alert these days. I mean, because of all the not the radioactive, but the electromagnetic things around us, the stuff they're putting in foods, the poisons that are around, the sprays. I mean, we really have to be watching
Well, I don't
time.
think we can watch everything. I think we have to
educate.
Be
aware. We should be aware.
We have to be more than aware. We have to constantly be educating ourselves about and trust our gut feelings. You know, if you had a house that was under some high antenna wires, Would you want to live in it?
I've been walking under them. I can hear them buzzing as I walk under. I get out
Not
from
good.
under them really fast.
Not good.
Well, we've just, it's television. We haven't got much time. So I'm going to mention a few things. We've
Okay.
only got a few minutes left. I want to get to the audience. Journaling, I think most people know what that is. Journaling to your feeling. That's
Well,
important. And
journaling is an
gratitude
opportunity
book.
to get in touch with learning about yourself, asking yourself the right questions. It's also a type of journaling that you can do where you're talking to your own inner child, your own inner innocence. I like to journal where I write out across the page, I date it, and I'll go, "Dear Angel, what would you like me to know about myself? What would you like me to know today?" And I just start writing. And it usually turns out to be a wonderful empowerment, a very intimate, very personal empowerment for that particular day. But I tell you that if you get into a habit of journaling and you ask the right questions, you will be expanded in your consciousness and awareness. It's fabulous.
Badeish, I have a good question for you while I go to the audience, and that's about the transitioning. The world, we're living in a transition. And what are some of the symptoms of the transition we're going through now? You talk about that while I go over here and get some people
Some
in the
of the
audience, too.
transition energies that we're all experiencing is dizziness, lack of sleep, or not being able to sleep. There may be feeling angry and you don't know why. There may be what I would call moments where you can't bring something up at all. And I call it a brain fart. And a lot of people are having this experience, so don't get too overly concerned about it. Your body does adjust, but it just is throwing you back and forth a bit.
Okay, we have audience member here, and I'll ask your name and your question.
My name is Connie.
Hi, Connie.
Hi. I'm asking, can I ground myself while in motion like running, walking, and how long a period will that last?
I would say no.
Really?
No, because I think grounding, running does, swimming, any of those things are grounding in their effect. But when you really want to know what your whole body system is up to, then you have to slow everything down, not think.
Okay, I'm glad I asked that.
And then you do the exercise and you open up your feeling body to feel the life force. And usually there's a tingling, a heat. There's a response, there's a confirmation when you're actually having this energy make contact with your field.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Badeish, while she's running, it can be a meditative thing, though. Running can be meditative, right?
I think that the whole act of running or swimming or any of those things are going to be grounding, but it was like swimming. Can you do an exercise while you're swimming?
Yeah, not grounding so much, but meditation. I think people think, when you're doing a marathon or something, it's almost like you go into a meditative state. Not a grounding, but a meditative state,
I think how we think about grounding in a traditional sense, it's not running down a road, because your mind needs to be paying attention what's around you. Now, if you're out of your body and you're running on automatic and you're not paying attention to where you're going, that could be a problem.
We have another question here. Your name and your question.
Thank you. My name is Lena.
Hi, Lena.
Thank you. I'm particularly interested in interactive grounding. And what I mean is that in my relationship with my significant other, I'll often find myself to be at odds in the energy. So I tend to be high energy, and and my partner tends to be very mercurial, and the energy goes up and down. So how does one keep oneself from losing one's energy? How does one hold on to it? How?
Well, I think it has to do with how much rest you're getting, good rest, what you're eating, and what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
In a relationship, there needs to be a time where you both could go maybe in nature, sit on a blanket under some trees, lay down, hold hands, and feel the pulse of the earth,